Hello everyone, welcome to OncoCipher. Today we'll discuss a topic which is very frequently asked in your exams, and that is amyloidosis. So what is amyloid? Amyloid is an insoluble fibrillary glycoprotein which is eosinophilic to pink in color acellular material. It is present extracellularly, and when increased amounts are present, it causes pressure atrophy. It can either be systemic or localized. First, we'll discuss systemic amyloidosis. First being primary, which is the most common type of amyloidosis, and this is of AL type, which is amyloid light chain of immunoglobulin lambda. Example being plasma cell dyscrasia or multiple myeloma, which is associated with gingival amyloidosis. Each and everything over here is an extremely important MCQ question. Coming next to secondary amyloidosis, which is secondary to any chronic inflammation in response to IL-1, 6, or TNF alpha. Now, this is of AA type, and it is most commonly associated with rheumatoid arthritis. It can also be associated with tuberculosis, osteomyelitis, or bronchiectasis, and it can present as a paraneoplastic syndrome in cases of renal cell carcinoma and Hodgkin's lymphoma. Again, each and everything over here is an important question. Next, we have the hemodialysis associated amyloidosis, which is due to A beta 2 microglobulin. Now, this is deposited over joints, synovium, and tendons, and this leads to the compression of the median nerve, leading to carpal tunnel syndrome. So, remember, hemodialysis associated amyloidosis leads to carpal tunnel syndrome. Finally, in systemic amyloidosis, we have the heredofamilial types. The first being familial Mediterranean fever, which is of SAA type, and in this, the pyrin protein is affected. Next, we have the familial amyloidotic polyneuropathy, in which we see mutant transthyretin or TTR. Finally, we have the senile cardiac amyloidosis, in which we see the wild type transthyretin, which is the non mutant TTR. Coming to localized amyloidosis, it can be endocrine, first being ACAL, which is calcitonin, and this is seen in association with familial medullary thyroid cancer. Secondly, we have the AIAPP type, which is islet associated polypeptide, seen in diabetes mellitus type 2. Now, the brain also can be involved. Example, Alzheimer's disease, which is the A beta type, and Prion's disease, which is the APRP-SC type. All of these are extremely important questions. Okay. Now, what is the pathogenesis of amyloidosis? It is all because of misfolding of all the proteins that I have spoken before, okay, like the A beta 2 microglobulin, etc. So, all these proteins are getting misfolded. How? It can either be because there is increased amount of normal protein production, or there is presence of mutant protein, for example, transthyretin, and this is associated with chromosome 21. All right. Now, what are its properties? So, first we'll discuss the chemical properties. It is made up of 95% of it is made up of fibrils. We also have the P component, which is responsible for the stabilization of amyloid in extracellular matrix. And finally, some other glycoproteins are also present. Next, we have the physical properties. Now, under electron microscopy, it is a continuous non-branching chain of diameter 7.5 to 10 nanometers. and under X-ray diffraction or infrared spectrum, it appears as a beta pleated sheet which forms the basis of Congo red stain. Talking about the staining of amyloidosis, which is very frequently asked, the most important stain is Congo red. Under light microscope, amyloid stained with Congo red appears red or pink in color, and in electron microscopy, it gives this apple green birefringence. What are the other stains? Methyl violet, crystal violet, thioflavin T, and toluidine blue. Okay. Now, what is the most commonly affected organ? It is kidney. What is the most common presentation in renal amyloidosis? It is massive proteinuria. This is the correct answer. And which is the earliest site to be involved in kidney? It is mesangial matrix, which is affected even before the capillary basement membrane. All of these are very important questions. All right. Now, the spleen, when it is localized involvement of the spleen, that is only the follicles are affected, it gives the appearance of sago spleen. And when there is diffuse involvement, wherein even the red pulp of the spleen is affected, it is known as lardaceous spleen. What happens to the liver? Usually, liver function tests are normal till the end of amyloidosis. However, the earliest site involved in liver is the space of Disse. Okay. Diagnosis. The most common and the best site for biopsy for proving a case of amyloidosis is the abdominal fat pad. All right, this is the correct answer. And the most common cause of death in primary amyloidosis is cardiac failure, and in secondary amyloidosis, it is renal failure. But the overall most common cause of death, if primary or secondary is not mentioned, it is cardiac failure. So, this was all about amyloidosis. It's a very important topic. Keep revising and keep studying. Thank you.